These are cards we're sick of seeing in the Commander Precons and cards we'd replace them with.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. You can feed us through Patreon.com. We eat food every single day, and if you give us donations, dollars on Patreon, you make the channel better, and you make our stomachs fuller. We would really appreciate it. And we're going to start coming up with some nice little patron goals, so keep an eye out for that.
BZ, have you heard about the new sponsor of this whole entire channel?
No.
It's Dragon Shield, and you know they got the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
Literally, we use them on every single one of our decks. Have been for, 10 years now?
20.
Since I've literally been using them for probably 10 years since I started playing Magic. Their sleeves are amazing. Get some of the dual match. Use our affiliate link in the description below, and you support this channel while getting those awesome sleeves shipped to you. You can get, there's a US link, there's a EU link. Wherever you live, use that link, get your sleeves.
And there's a birthday link because we're saying happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today.
That was a lie. There just isn't a birthday link.
There is. There's a link between me and you. It's your birthday person, and I'm saying happy birthday.
All right, so this one's pretty simple. Precons love to put in the same cards over and over again. A lot of times, they're great. I love seeing Cultivate over and over again. It's a Commander staple. You're going to see it in a lot of decks. It's great that it's a budget card, too. So, it's awesome seeing cards like Cultivate in decks over and over again. There's plenty of awesome examples like that.
Some of them are very confusing, or we're sick of seeing them in lieu of something else. So we're going to talk about some of the biggest offenders, cards we could basically never see again and be happy about.
Yeah, exactly. We're not just complaining. So we're going to show you the cards that we think, hey, we'd like to see these in less precons. Maybe, if it was in 4 precons, let's see it in one of those precons. And then some of these other cards are great alternatives to put in their place.
And so the card everybody's thinking of as soon as I say it's been in too many precons, one of the biggest offenders, although not the biggest offender, is Zatulpa Primal Dawn. It's an 8-mana 4/8 with Indestructible and Double Strike and a bunch of other words on it. And it really doesn't belong in almost any deck it's ever been in, with the exception of the Abzan Counters deck.
Yes, exactly. So Zatulpa is a fine card. It's a cool top end in some white decks, maybe if you have some life gain synergies or something like that. But it doesn't go in most decks, almost any deck. So the fact that we saw this 3 straight years in a row in a precon made no sense. It was just way too much. This is a niche card that goes in very few decks, something that we'd like to see replace it. We have Zatulpa. Well, a big top-end thing. It's a budget card, and it's stronger. I'd rather play this card in so many more decks than Zatulpa. It's Artisan of Kozilek. I think it's been in 2. It has been in 2. I see it on the script. I don't know why I said I think. It's been in 2 precon decks before. This is a great card. This card is actually very strong, very good, and very over the top. Take out the Zatulpas. Let's see this more.
It's a nice closer. It's got some game-ending abilities instead of just chippy for loads. Here's 10, Annihilator 2 plus my biggest threat from the rest of the game. I don't need Zatulpa. I guarantee whatever deck they come out with, the Zatulpa is in next, it won't fit in that deck. So let's do some Artisan and get back the creatures, graveyard, big giant ramp strategies. It doesn't go. It goes in everything. Next is a cycle of lands they sure do love putting in precons. They're not unplayable, but the Signet lands, as we're calling them, the Sungrass Prairie cycle, it's just every single time they can put it in, they put it in. And now I guess I don't necessarily never want to see these again. They're fine budget duels, but I would love to see them alongside of these next ones, or see these other cycles instead of these.
Yeah, I mean, they're overused, right?
They've been at 7.
Just
precons.
7 precons. It's like you said, these aren't terrible, and these aren't bad to see in some precons. We don't need them in every other precon. Let's mix it up. Let's throw in things like Allied Painlands. We've had the enemy Painlands in a ton of precons. Awesome. Love to see that because Painlands are amazing. They're great, and they're now budget because they've been reprinted so much. Let's do the same thing to the Allied Painlands. Let's see the Sulphurous Springs. Let's see, what are the other ones? Oh, God, my mind is not.
Brushland, Adakar Wastes.
Adakar Wastes. Let's see all of these put into the precon so that they can get down in price just like the enemy ones. Also, we saw that the enemy filter lands just got reprinted. Let's do the exact same thing. Let's see the Allied filter lands now get reprinted into some precons. Those are great replacements for things like the Signet lands.
That would be a much bolder move, but I'm all for it. Let's juice the mana base a little bit. Let's have players go, oh, they put that in there? Ooh, interesting. The mana base is going to be pretty good for this. Even, to a lesser extent, the Snarls can come back, but, all 3 of those, better than the Signet lands. I'd rather see them, or I'll love to see them alongside the Signet lands, but Sungrass Prairie has been in 7 precons.
I think this next one might be the literal biggest offender of overprinted in precons.
It has to be.
It is Temple of the False God And it is in 15 precons. I didn't count how many precons exist. Like, we are counting as in being in a precon. That means it's like, if like Commander 2020, okay, if it's in one of those, it's in those precons.
15's about as big of a number as you can see.
There's not many more Commander sets. It's like literally every Commander set they make, they put Temple of the False God. This card is, one, we think bad. Just bad. We don't just playing it. We're off of it. But on top of that, why do we need it in every single precon? It's not unique. It doesn't synergize. It doesn't work with anything.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, either Temple of the False God is bad or it isn't. We think it's bad. If it's not bad, it does not go in every deck. Certain decks want it over the vast majority of other decks that cannot take advantage of just having a random 36 land that's Temple of the False God.
Yeah, okay. So we're obviously off of that. In its place, a card that's actually recent, and it's been in one precon since, it's War Room. Super awesome land. Literally,
It's so good.
it taps for colorless mana, or it can pay 3, tap, draw a card, and then you lose life equal to the number of colors in your commander's color identity.
And it functions in the beginning of the game.
Yes, I'm super happy with War Room all the time. I think it's a great card. I also love things like War Room. Something I'm really high about these is that War Room rewards you for being less colors. I love cards that reward you for being less colors. Those are the kind of cards I love seeing. This could literally be a card that goes in every 1 or 2 color precon all the time.
I'd be happy to see it. Plus, it's a good card that can need reprints. Let's keep it below $5 and keep players, jazzed about seeing it in precons.
I would like to see more monocolored precons too. We've only had one set of them.
Wow, really? One?
One set.
Maybe they weren't popular.
And I think we've seen a few thrown in here or there that are like single color.
Like the Necrons were mono black.
Exactly. Like it's rare. Just give me more. I would like a full set. I'd like to see one full set again of just the monocolor ones. It's really
I do love
cool.
monocolor decks.
Yes, they're very cool.
Next is a pair of removal spells that are just cheaper than dirt, and they are just so begrudgingly okay that we never play them. It's Putrefy in 7 precons and Mortify, fittingly also in 7 precons. There's better removal spells. We never play these cards. We don't ever recommend playing these cards because even on the same dirt cheap budget, you've got better stuff.
Yes, exactly. They're fine. They're not bad Magic cards, but you can always just do better. The fact is, when you're in white black or when you're in green black, you get things that just hit either every permanent, both artifacts and enchantments, or just, are much more versatile at hitting creatures for not being 3 mana. You just never need to go to these. So some of the great choices that are absolutely, these are all dirt cheap, by the way. Amazing. Soul Shatter. It's been in one precon before. Amazing. We've been hyping this card forever. It's so good. 3 for 1 every single time. And the mana value, the mana advantage you get out of this card, so good.
Huge. Soul Shatter's amazing. Curtain's Call, also amazing. It's only been in one precon also. It's 6 mana, only technically because you have 3 opponents, so it's 3 mana to destroy 2 things. I mean, comparing that to Putrefy and Mortify is like embarrassing. Like, I lose some of the versatility, but I gain so much more efficiency, literally twice as much.
Yeah, exactly. And like Mortify's versatility is butts, it hits enchantments. Like that's
okay.
Yeah, that's not very good. Curtain's Call is a great card. Like you said, 2 for 1, 3 mana. That's where we want to be. And Windgrace's Judgment, 5 mana, 3 for 1. Yes, 3 for 1. It's been in 2 precons so far. It's only ever been printed in precons, actually. Just keep printing it. This is a great precon card. It's only like 60 some odd cents. It's so good. I love playing this card. It's fair and it's good. Like, I love that combination of things. Like, Windgrace's Judgment isn't over the top. It's not ridiculous. It's not stupid. It's always just good and it's just fair.
You get your versatility because you're hitting their best thing no matter what it is. And you honestly get a little bit of efficiency, especially when you compare it to Putrefy. Like, I could pay 2 more mana, lose all restriction, and hit 1 for every person.
Yeah, you just get extra stuff out of it. Such a great Magic card. I love Windgrace's Judgment.
Such a precon level card for me, yes. I think.
This next one, okay. I am getting so sick of seeing this one, and they still do it. Like, they printed it, I think, in Neon Dynasty last year.
Yep.
So it's not like it's not like it's been a long time since we've seen this card. No, Acidic Slime has been in 9 different precons. That is absolutely absurd. This card has been outclassed. And I know in the early days, it wasn't a lot of the early commanders, but the fact that they just put it in a precon last year says something. I think this card is just terrible in Commander. I think it's next to unplayable when you compare it to the other stuff we have. In its place, I would love to see a card that's only been printed once in one precon, and it's Druid of Purification. This card is amazing.
Off the chain.
It's so good, and I just want to see it in every precon. If this was in every precon, it'd be great. It's like, oh, it's a 10-cent card for one of the best removal interaction spells in the format.
It's so freaking good. It's already been in a precon. Why not more precons? It's been a little bit since Steven came out, so it's not like there's a recency thing where they can't just print it again. They can just print it again. I'm excited to see it again. I hope we see it again, and I hope to not see Acidic Slime again.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say that they're not going to reprint something that fast. I mean, look at Grim Hireling. Grim Hireling was printed faster than this card. Like, they were both from the same precon sets, and we already got Grim Hireling reprint. So we can obviously do it with Druid of Purification.
Yeah, a card I really never want to see again. It's just so bad and risky, needlessly. It's Hunter's Insight, been in 3 precons so far. You have to target a creature, and then when it deals combat damage, you draw that many cards. And there's so many things that need to go right. Target, all right, that worked. Attack, okay. Hit you, or even just attack. All right, they don't block. Great. Target this. I have the mana open. I have found the opening. I have a creature that has like 3 or more power. And then I'm like, okay, then I draw cards if you don't want to interact at that point. It's like, why? Why are there so many hoops? Green can just draw cards.
Yes, and you can draw cards equal to power, which is what this thing does. There was a point in time when this was the best way to draw equal to your power. It's not even close to true anymore.
Yeah, that was like 2012.
Yeah, it's been a long time since that. So what I'd like to see in this place, especially cheap, Rurik Thar. No, not Rurik Thar. That's useless. We don't want to see Rurik Thar. We want to see Garruk, Primal Hunter. He's actually been in 2 precons before. Love to see him again. Basically, it can just be a sorcery, 5-minute sorcery, minus draw equal to your biggest creature's power. Perfect. There's no risk. There's no targeting. So much better.
And it does other things. If it's turn 4 and there's no creatures in play, plus to make a beast, then minus draw at least 3 cards, and now you have a planeswalker that's just sitting there making more 3/3s. Maybe it'll draw you more cards in the future. Hunter's Insight's not going to do any of that. It's going to say, you have to be ahead hitting people with your biggest creature, or I suck.
And there's also a couple other cards that are seeing a little bit of precon reprint and that we'd love to see. Again, Rishkar's Expertise, bad in precons, but very, very good at drawing the cards. And same thing with Return of the Wild Speaker. Again,
versatile.
These cards are so much better than Hunter's Insight. We don't want to see Hunter's Insight because it's not only just bad, it's risky, it gets you blown out, and it's just not even. I don't think it's good enough for a precon. No. Precons should be playing better cards than Hunter's Insight.
The precons are good. Like, the precons have only gotten better. And I think there's just still some cards in there that, like these 10 that we're talking about, that are just, we'd rather see the other half, which are amazing.
All right, this next one might be the biggest offender for me, for I'm like, why does, anyone play it in the Commander deck, and why is in the precon made by Wizards of the Coast? See, there's Mana Gorger Hydra. Okay, this card, I don't like it, and I actually thought about putting it on this list. But it has trample.
It's evasion.
It has evasion. What if we took that away and gave it all creature types and had Taurine Mauler? This card is awful. This card is unplayable. And I seriously never suggest playing it. It's been in 4 precons, and it was literally in Neon Dynasty precons last year.
I understand if your tribe deck is very shallow and this could maybe fill in a slot. I don't know why I would ever willingly play this. You know, I would go like, well, I guess we can play Taurian Mauler, but I would never be excited about it. It's really, really, really low impact. Can be chumped. I don't know what it gives you, really. It's a classic card. You know, this is the card that sits in play for 4 turns and then dies to the Soul Shatter that I played to answer a different threat and just happens to just die. It's like, I don't ever recommend this card, really, ever.
You want a fact? Taurian Mauler, if your tribe is not deep enough, and it needs Taurian Mauler, your tribe isn't playable in Commander.
But you're playing a jank deck at that point.
It's gotta be like, I just don't even know, like, even the jankiest decks that don't even have that much support don't have to go to Taurian Mauler.
It could be in like a weird color combination too.
Oh my god.
Like red, white, or like red, green humans maybe.
All right, so let's talk about, I put a 4-drop here that I think is a lot better, and this is a card that just has been reprinted. It's cheap, and I think it's underplayed in Commander. It's Ogre Battle Driver.
Feels like exactly the precon level card.
Exactly the precon level card. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, +2/+0 and haste. So basically all your creatures are going to have haste coming down, and they're pumped up. I think this card is just, like you said, perfect for a precon and just underrated in Commander overall.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of got the precon like, hey, you know, I'm not going to win the game right now, but like next turn I can have a really good turn and maybe I can take somebody out with this card if I have enough spells to follow it up. That to me is like the exact epitome of what a precon wants to do, and I'm actually surprised this hasn't been in one, but I would be very happy to see it in one, and I think it's that perfect mid-level, like can function as a win con, but also it's a haste enabler type card. Next we have like a begrudgingly playable, you know, bare bones draw spell. It's Ancient Craving, which has been in 3 precons, and there's also Ambition's Cost, which is the same exact card, but that one's been in like 8 precons. So this is just 4 mana, draw 3, lose 3. It's kind of like a harmonized, it's a functional card. You don't need it in your deck. There are a million better options. It is a Precon level card, but they've been printed into the dirt, in all these Precons, and they never have been like a good card in any of them. They're just kind of like filler card draw. Like, yeah, it does draw cards, but it's not what I want to play.
Yeah, they're seriously, filler is the best way to describe these cards. It's not even close. They don't synergize with any deck. They don't do anything for real. Unless your deck has a lose life synergy, which some do. There is very few. It just doesn't do anything with your deck. But this next card, you haven't heard suggested ever, but it's perfect for a Precon level, and we want this card to be a budget. We've been mentioning it recently. Phyrexian Arena. On a budget, this card is perfect. I feel like it perfectly encapsulates what you're looking for from a Precon. It's slow, it's janky, but as it stays on the battlefield, it gets you a ton of advantage that actually will be tangible as time goes on.
Yeah, I think it's totally the Precon level. We're powered down. We're kind of battle cruising a little bit. Nobody's playing combos. Nobody's playing fast mana that isn't soaring. It's very much tuned to the Phyrexian Arena, like, sort of level of play. And it can be better than Ancient Craving. I don't know if straight up I would say one is better than the other in, like, high power commander. What do you think?
In high power, I would never touch either of these in high power commander.
Exactly. So they're at least comparable. And it's just, oh man, I think Phyrexian Arena is a more exciting card. Bare minimum, they're comparable power-wise, and Phyrexian Arena is so much more exciting and interesting to read than draw 3, lose 3, okay, you're done.
It also has a higher ceiling, right? Because like the ceiling is so... We know what the ceiling on Ancient Cravens is always exactly the same. It's the exact same card. It's always draw 3, lose 3. That's the ceiling. Phyrexian Arena has the potential to go higher, be 4, 5, 6 card draw, which is, at least cooler to have.
It's a cooler card. It's a more exciting card to read, and it's like, I feel like it would add more clout to the Precons.
Yes. Next. Okay. 7 Precons this card's been in. 7. Vampire Nighthawk is not even close to a commander card. It's not even remotely close to something I consider playable. Not even on a Precon level.
It's a trade binder card. Like, if you're building a deck out of your trade binder, this is like your 100th card. I just like flying Death Touch Lifelink. That's it. That's all it does. People have talked about this card, defending it like vehemently, saying, this is basically a removal spell. No one's ever going to attack you. It's like, huh? I look at this card and I don't even treat it like it exists on the battlefield.
Like, if you want to play the Death Touch guy like this, don't play Vampire Nighthawk. Play any flying Death Touch. And those come at the cost of 2 mana usually. Just play that. That's where you want to be if you want to play.
Forget the medium lifelink.
Why would you ever care about Vampire Nighthawk? Why would you pay an extra mana? It's useless. This card is terrible.
I mean, Nighthawk Scavenger exists.
Yes.
Is basically a 6/3 that's the same card for the same price. I think that card might be cheaper than Vampire Nighthawk. Just embarrassing when you compare them. So bare minimum, let's put Nighthawk Scavenger in instead of Vampire Nighthawk. It's got all the same everything, but it's better.
Yes, so that's one thing you go with. But I actually think a card that we've seen in a Precon before that I think is perfect for the power level of Precons because we're attacking, we're doing tons of fun stuff like in combat. Wormcoil Engine.
Yes.
It's literally been in a Precon before. It's been there. It's seen Precon printings. Do it again. Give me back the Wormcoil Engine. When you print these artifact decks, like when you did Urza and Mishra a little bit back, Wormcoil Engine should be in that kind of deck. It's perfect reprint status for it. Just give it to me because this is a great lifelink creature. Give me next time you build a life gain commander deck, give this as a Precon card.
Yes, I will say the one Precon Vampire Nighthawk went in was that Abzan keywords ability because it has 3 keywords and like, okay, the pickings are pretty slim for Abzan keywords. The other 6, egregious. Wormcoil Engine, it's all the same abilities, all the same functionality, and you can even swap it in for Zotulpa too. Like, it's a big, late game, life gain finisher. Not finisher, but it throws out some damage while not being a finisher. It just has a big impact on the board. Vampire Nighthawk has no impact on anything. It's like the smallest micro ghostly prison you could ever have that just folds to anything. It has virtually no impact.
Yeah, the card is terrible. Moving on, we have Starstorm. Deal X damage to each creature at instant speed, or you can cycle it and, draw a card. This card is whatever. It's fine.
I don't know if anyone even knows, because you didn't know this has been in so many Precons. It's been in 5.
It's weird. I mean, I don't know why they're putting this in so many Precons. This card is fine, passable once in a while in a Precon. I don't want to see it every other year.
Have you ever played this card in a deck and
No.
been like, yeah, cool?
I've never put this card in a deck. So let's just move from it, because whatever. This card is
so replaceable. It's your replaceable board wipe. It's the ancient craving of board wipes.
It's the epitome of replaceable. So let's put in an actual awesome card, Volcanic Torrent. This card is worth pennies. It's not actually worth anything, but it's awesome Precon level and extremely powerful card. And the thing about Volcanic Torrent is, when the decks are being controlled and built like Precons are, you can make sure they can't storm off for like 5 and wipe entire boards. It makes it more of a fair card. This card is already very, very good. And when it's cultivated to not be broken, it's just fair.
Yeah, I think this card is amazing. It's like the perfect level power of a card. One of the best commander designs I've ever seen. I love everything about this card. It's like, oh, it's one side. It doesn't hit your creatures. You can build up around it. Just cast it as a weird pyroclasm for 5. Get some value out of it. Oh, I love Volcanic Torrent so much.
It's a very good card. It is seriously just a good card, and I absolutely love playing it.
If you're looking for other cards that are kind of the perfect level for Precons and above, I would recommend our series, Budget Bombs, where we talk about powerful commander cards for under $1. That's very interesting. I would click on this video if I were you.
Peace out, Tribe Scouts.